All right, game design students, I hope everybody's doing well. I'm making a video here to show you how to do touch screen controls for a game. And so what I have open here on my screen, as you can see, is my my simple 2D platformer from the last video. And hopefully you can still hear this with my microphone down. But we added in a heads-up display on this. So if I play the game here, you can see it's pretty simple. This is just built off the guided tour program. And I added in a heads-up display to show me my score every time I pick up a tomato. And then if I leave the level, it resets my position but subtracts my health, right? And we didn't go any further than that. We didn't add any sort of effect when you get to 0. We'll probably get to that at some point. But what we want to do here is we want to enable some touchscreen controls. Okay? And what these touchscreen controls will allow you to do is if you can publish this game to a mobile device, it will allow you to have that control scheme already built in for a touchscreen. So, an important thing here, let me make my head a little smaller so you guys can see. Get in the camera here. There we go. That should work. I'm going to add in a couple of things here. Now, the first thing I need to add in, and I want to make sure my HUD layer that I made last time is unlocked and that my platform layer is locked because I want to add these commands on the HUD layer, okay? Because I don't want them to move and scroll. I want them to stay on the heads-up display. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double-click and I'm going to search for touch, and I need to spell it right. That's going to be important. Okay, and I just want to double-click that, and it just now has added the ability to touch objects on the screen. And so what this does is I can go to my event sheet and I can add events, and now I can use this touch event here. So anyways, go back to the layout because we are not done yet. We need to double click and I need to insert a sprite. I'm going to put that sprite here down in the bottom left. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a square like this, and I'm going to make it kind of look like that. I'm going to fill it in, and then I'm going to take my arrow, my line here. Sorry, I'm going to hold shift to keep it a straight line. I'm going to make a little arrow shape, and I'm going to fill it in as well. Okay, so here is my little arrow, and you can make that whatever color you'd like. If you're like, I want my arrow to be blue or red or whatever, I might do mine green. Okay, just to make it easy. And I'm going to go ahead and rename this sprite to left arrow. Okay, and I can resize it however I need. Okay, I'm going to position it right there, and I'm going to change, let's see, where is it, my opacity right here. So I'm going to go to my object type properties. I'm going to change my opacity. 35 is usually pretty good, and it just makes it a little bit see-through. Then I'm going to go over to my properties panel, go to my left arrow, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to clone it. Okay, oh, and that's still there. So I want to click on now on my left arrow too, click and drag, so I have an instance of it here on my screen. Now I'm going to double click it to open up the editor, and I'm going to click rotate so that now it is rotated to face the right. And all of the same properties apply. You see I have a left arrow and a right arrow, and instead of calling it left arrow 2, I want to rename it to be right arrow. Okay, and I can adjust it so it's nice and lined up good. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to click on this arrow. I'm going to clone the arrow again. So now I have right arrow 2. I'm going to click and drag this right arrow to right here. I'm going to double click right arrow 2. And I'm going to rotate it so it's pointing upwards now. And I'm just going to click out of this here, position it kind of where I want, and now I want to rename this up arrow. So now you can see I have these 3 arrows on my screen, a left and a right arrow in the bottom left, and an up arrow in the bottom right, and make sure that all of these are on the HUD layer. One thing we'll want to double check as well is if you double click these, we'll want to go down to this very bottom option here, and we want to edit the collision polygon, or what oftentimes is known as a hitbox. And we probably want to make it a little bit smaller, but basically anywhere around this arrow, okay, we want that hitbox to be. So that means when we touch this arrow, that's what it's detecting that we're touching, okay, on our touch screen. And I'm going to open this one up, and I'm just going to do the same thing. We don't want too much blank space around it, but you do want a little bit, right? You don't want the hitbox to be so narrow that you can't actually touch it when you're trying to. And our up arrow is right here. Okay, beautiful. Now, we need to go to our event sheet and make some certain things happen. So we're going to go to event sheet and we're going to add an event, and we're going to click on touch and on, let's see, I believe it is just, is in touch? Man, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've done this. I probably should have reviewed this before I made the video, but oh well, that's how it goes. So we're going to say on tap, oh no, I don't want, not on tap gesture, I want tap object. And I want that to be my right arrow. I am going to take my player and I'm going to search for simulate control, because we're going to take advantage of our platform behavior and we're going to simulate control, and when our right arrow is touched, we want to go to the right. Now, let's try this out. We can start it up now. Oh, I don't have any left put in yet, so I need to do that. So we're going to add an event. We're going to do a similar thing on touch, on tap object, and on our left arrow, we're going to add in a player, simulate control of going to the left. Now let's start it up. Oh boy. Okay, so it's definitely not that. Okay. Let's go. Is in touch? Can we do that? No, that's not what we want. Is touching object, that's the one. Right arrow. Okay. Oh, cancel, want to go back. Is touching object, left arrow. Here we go. This is the one. And now you can see I have my left and my right. My problem is I don't have my jump programmed. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add event, touch, is touching object, and we're going to do up arrow. Done. We're going to add action. We're going to check our player. We're going to simulate control. And we've already done left and right. Now let's do jump. Let's test it out. And there's my jump. Now my problem is right now. Okay, that works pretty well actually. It's kind of hard because with this touch control, I only have one finger technically, which is just my mouse button. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull construct up on my iPad so I can actually test out the touchscreen controls. Okay. Now the last thing we need to do, right? If you remember here when we first did the guided tour, we mirrored our player's position when we pressed left and right on the arrow keys. We have to do that same thing when we press left and right on our touch controls. Okay. So I am going to add action on this platformer pressing left. I'm going to click my player and I'm going to set mirrored to be mirrored. And when I press right arrow, I'm going to take my player and I'm going to set mirrored to be not mirrored. And now I can do this. And when I press left and right, it works exactly as intended. Okay? So now I'm going to cut over to my iPad so I can show you how to actually pull this up on a touchscreen device. Okay, so here I have my iPad screen and I have my Construct 3 pulled up on my iPad, streaming to my PC. I'm going to open up. That's not working there. I need to open up a project. Need to cloud open. Refresh. Basic HUD. There it is. Now I've got it. Everything's saved. We're going to open it up. Here we go. Now it's on my iPad. And I'm going to click start. We're going to try again to open up the pop-out window. And here we go. And you can see. Oh, and I'm using it here. And my touchscreen controls work really well. Let's make sure everything else works. So I got my fonts, or my HUD things working. Oh, what a fun game. I would definitely pay $1.99 on the App Store for this. Not. Okay, and let's make sure everything else works. Let's jump off the side. Oh, and my health bar works great. Look at that. So far, everything is working really well. Okay, and that is the basic way to create touchscreen controls on a game in Construct 3 and actually run it and test it on a touchscreen device. Great thing about Construct 3 is it's browser-based, and so you can use it on pretty much any device. The iPad takes a little bit of some tricks to get working. It's probably easiest to use on the PC, but if you're developing for a touchscreen device, it is really good to have a touchscreen device around to be able to test. So I hope this video has been helpful, and now you can go on and test and build your own simple touchscreen controls. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.